things are going to get better. If you're a gigging musician and that stopped, things are opening up where you can start doing that again. Keep playing. Music has a way of soothing the soul. It really does. And it's something that can help keep you sane and tough times, because there's only so many video games you can play. There's only so much cornhole and finding little funny things to do. But, if you're a musician, perfect your craft. Take the time to work on your craft.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the allmusicmattersnat podcast. I am your host, Brian. And join me today, it's Tom Counts. How you doing, brother?
Doing good, bro. How you doing?
I'm doing good. And special thanks to Rich Raw Dog Drums. He had mentioned you to me, and I was kind of looking for some new interviews to kind of reach out. So it was good. And your YouTube name is Preach Rocks, right?
Yep. On YouTube, I'm Preach Rocks. So
that's pretty sweet.
And that came as a suggestion from my niece when I started playing drums again. She said, "You ought to get on YouTube and say Preach Rocks. You get hundreds of thousands of views." I said, "Really?" But I'm not on YouTube for that. I'm just, I like to play and interact with everybody in the community.
That's pretty sweet. And that's normally how most people in this community are too. Obviously, I think the mindset changes once they get to that 1,000 subscriber mark. Maybe it's like, hey, maybe I can make something out of this a little bit more. But we can talk a little bit more about that. But I got some questions here for you, and I think people are interested to hear your story. So you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. So let's start off with this one. Tell us a little bit about your drum history. How did you get into drumming?
Well, when I was probably about 13, my dad and my mom and myself and my brother, we used to go to visit my grandparents in Virginia every summer, like clockwork. Well, my dad got an 8-track player in his car. And we listened to a Charlie Pride tape, one tape. That's the only thing he had, all the way up, all the way back. And I vowed there I hated country music, which I don't hate country music. But got down here and I started, some bands started to show up on TV. And I like the appearance of the drum set. So how you can hit things with sticks and you can make noise out of them. And I started getting interested. And when I was 15, I ended up getting a set. And a guy that I used to bowl with, he actually played guitar. So we got together, we started playing. And as we went up through high school, we had a Beatles cover band, and we played in that stuff. And then when I graduated, I started playing with a couple other guys that lived out. We're close to Fort Bragg, so there's some military kids I used to jam with, and we ended up playing all past high school up till I started working at Goodyear. And then when I got married and my wife got pregnant, the drums took a back seat. So this isn't a set I had whenever my wife got pregnant, but the drum room got turned into a nursery, and drums got put away. And in 2015, my wife and I were at a Marshall's, and there's a guitar center right next door to Marshall's. So I said, I want to go in here and look at these electronic drum sets. And I started going in there, and every time we'd go over that way and start playing a little bit, I said, I kind of like to have one of those. And she ended up buying me one for Christmas. It was a little Elisa's DM6, kind of a beginner level kit. And I started playing around with it. Then I ended up getting the Command. Let me see if you can get that.
So you still had one. Oh, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, that's my Command. And then I just recently retired from Goodyear. So about a year ago, one of the guys I worked with, he had an acoustic kit. Let me stop this thing from shaking. He asked if I wanted to buy it. I said, sure, I'll buy it from him. It was $100. It's a little Apollo kit. It's like a Pearl knockoff made. It's one of those, like CB700s and things like that. So I ended up buying that, going through it, put new heads on it, and my $100 drum kit turned into about a $500 drum kit after I was done. Recently retired. I told my wife I'm buying myself a retirement present, so I bought the my PDP, and yeah, I've just been recording some videos off and on for about the last 4 or 5 years, just interacting with people on YouTube, and haven't gigged with anybody in a long, long time. But I still enjoy playing.
I see. That's pretty sweet. I don't think I should have probably started off mentioning where are you hailing from? Are you from North Carolina?
Fayetteville, North Carolina.
Born and raised?
Right here at Fort Bragg. And no, actually, I was born in France. When my parents were stationed overseas, I was born in France in August 1962. And they were scheduled to come back when I was a month old, but they had a Cuban Missile Crisis going on. So it wasn't until October till we came back to the States, and I've been here ever since. So I guess I could say I'm a native. So I've been here all my 59 years minus a couple months.
Yeah, I can see why. I was trying to think. How did you and Rich meet? Did you guys just meet through Facebook and stuff like that?
Through YouTube. We had the Google Plus community there at one time, and we had several hundred drummers on that thing, and just by chance our paths crossed on that, and I started commenting on his videos. Found out he was former Air Force, and he was in a small assignment out here at Pope Air Force Base at one time. But we just started communicating back and forth, became friends on Facebook, and I actually got to meet him. His daughter she lived here in Spring Lake. I think she's moving out to Washington State. But we got together, and I got to meet his family, and we shared a cup of coffee over at Starbucks. But Rich is a heck of a guy. I like him a lot.
Yeah, he's a really cool dude. Because the reason why I kind of brought it up was because I actually saw the picture you guys on Facebook there. I guess that's when you first met, or was that just a separate time when you guys got together?
First time.
That was first time?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. And he's doing pretty well. I don't know if you actually saw the interview I did with him. I released it last week. So if you haven't, go check it out. It's actually a really cool one. Learn a little bit more about him. So I guess since you're already in the drum room and you kind of show us your electric set already, why don't you talk more about your acoustic set there?
Okay, it's a PDP Spectrum. I bought it right out of the box, and I went ahead and I changed the tom heads to the black onyx, Evans black onyx heads. Now my cymbals I got a 16-inch Zildjian Crash. It's a Z series. Same with the hi-hats, 10-inch Splash, then the 18-inch China, and I have a 20-inch Meinl ride that I bought with the acoustic kit I bought last year, and a 18-inch Crash ride. Now, I pronounce it pasty, but a lot of people call it peisty. And so I got that, and then I got an extra set of 14-inch hi-hats over there in the corner. Let me see if you can see them. And I got a Mapex maple snare that I bought. It's 8-inch deep. So I actually bought it for that other kit right there, but it will be getting some airplay here before long.
That's pretty sweet. That's a killer set too. And actually, the first video I saw with you in it was actually "Flirting with Disaster" by Molly Hatchet. So I saw you kind of jamming out there too. So I had to admit that was actually a killer cover too. And I remember the first time hearing that song, and this is one I always bring up, and I always come back to it. It was Rock Band, that video game. Rock Band. Did you ever play it before, or?
Oh yeah. I had a few rock band and Guitar Hero games, and I actually saw Molly. We used to have quite a few concerts out here at Fayetteville, the old auditorium. I saw Molly Hatchet probably 4 times out there, along with Nantucket. I don't know if you're familiar with them. ZZ Top, Outlaw, Sammy Hagar, Boston, Ted Nugent, Foghat. I mean, we used to have concerts, and that used to be the thing to do. We'd all get together, we'd go to the concert, everything was general admission. We had a specific place that we usually set. We'd get there a couple hours early, and I saw Molly Hatchet in her heyday. So that
I don't think my dad was actually real big into Mariachi. Probably like a couple of their songs that they would play. Obviously, Flirting with Disaster, I guess, was their big hit. So,
Yeah.
uh, I don't know about Nantucket, but I do know about all the other ones you mentioned with ZZ Top, The Outlaws, Ted Nugent, all that stuff. Wangas de Tango, eh? That whole thing.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
Actually, I always say that one because he got mentioned in one of the animated episodes I watched. It was like a late night show. It was called Aqua Teen Hunger Force, and they said that this billboard had the face of Jesus, which they compared to Ted Nugent for some reason. I guess when he had the full beard and everything. So it was
Wild man. Now he's yeah. Actually, Nantucket used to tour with AC/DC and Cheap Trick. This was back in '78. And that was one of the shows I went to with my brother was Nantucket, AC/DC, and Cheap Trick. And that's when Bon Scott was still alive, obviously. But there was probably 3,000 people out there. That place would hold 8,000, but there was probably 3,000 people there. That's probably the loudest show I've ever been to. But yeah, that's I've been around a day or two, so
okay. You not have the auditory impact when it's ACDC or I guess you said Nantucket and Cheap Trick. I think that should be packed.
oh yeah. Well, I don't think it was very well advertised. Uh, Everything was advertised over the radio back then. Nowadays it's internet and yeah, but it was. I mean, we used to have good times out there.
Sounds like it too. I would say my dad, he was born and raised here in Pittsburgh, and his was seeing like a lot of Kiss, and obviously Ted Nugent was more of an opener when he would always come to Pittsburgh. I don't know if Nugent was he always an opener when
He was open. He was actually opener for 38 Special. And when I saw Rat, Bon Jovi was an opener for Rat. Now look at the way the positions have changed. Rat's kind of more of a club band now, and Bon Jovi is super famous. And it's when they're first coming up, they gotta pay their dues like everybody else does, but they persevered. That's for sure. Yeah, Kiss. I saw Kiss, and actually before the COVID shut down, I took my son and my nephew to Greensboro. There's a lot of good concerts go to Greensboro and Raleigh, but Greensboro, we went and saw the End of the World tour. Then it was probably a month after that's when everything shut down. So they've never seen them, and I pretty much told them this is what's going to happen, and it's a Kiss show. If you've seen it, you know what's going to happen. So
I think it was End of the Road tour. I don't think it was End of the World.
yeah, there you go. It's the End of the World tour now, right?
I think it's always been like that, but I think they've always done like so many because it seems like they keep coming back together and they just keep doing their thing. So I actually did see them too live when they came to Pittsburgh, and that was actually the first time I physically saw them live because I've seen videos of them when they played in like Winterland, for instance, or jumping around all these other kind of shows back in the 70s and stuff. And I had to admit it was still good. Obviously, it's all showmanship and everything, but
Great show, that's for sure.
it was, yeah. And at the same time, it's kind of funny too. But it's like, hey, it's actually very enjoyable. I actually like watching this too. So, and then actually, literally this year was the first time I've been to a concert. Actually, two concerts in a while because let's see, I won late February, and that was both of these were metal concerts. I don't know how big you are into metal.
Oh, the death metal stuff, not really. I mean, I applaud the musicians, especially the drummers, the super awesome double bass work they do and blast beats and all that. But yeah, it's never really been my thing. I've Southern rock and classics, and back when I was growing up, Black Sabbath was considered heavy metal, and I don't think they would really fit into that genre nowadays. But
I say one of the progenitors of heavy metal. They helped shaped it in today, and there's always that interesting story because Tony Iommi, he had to down tune his strings because I guess he was working in another job before jumping into Black Sabbath and everything. I think he had an accident with his fingers, so in order to loosen the pain or anything on it, he down-tuned the strings a little bit. That's why I gave it that dark sound when that first album came out back in right 69, or I think they might say 1970. It was
I
right in
think
between there.
finally got released, but he had prosthetic tips that he actually puts on his fingers. I can't remember what kind of plan he was working at, but he ended up losing the ends of his fingertips. So that's why he fashioned those prosthetic tips. And I forget how he did it, with plastic or some way, but that way he could play without damaging his fingers worse. And playing left-handed too. So
Yeah.
that's pretty awesome there.
Yeah. I don't see too many lefties like anymore, because you think back to legends like Tony Iommi and Jimi Hendrix, those kind of guys.
Sure.
I'm sure there's plenty, but you just don't hear too much about them, so it's kind of a bit of a shame too. So
kind of like left-handed drummers, Ian Pace, left-handed drummer. And the first time I saw a drummer play an open hand, I saw 3 Days Grace. I said, this guy's playing the hi-hat with the wrong hand. But then you start looking at videos of Simon Phillips. I'm thinking he's left-handed playing right-handed on a right-handed kit. But no, it just gives them more versatility to go from here to there, instead of having to cross your hands over. So I watched a lot of Simon Phillips videos. That he's something.
That's for sure. Considering that you have both the electronic side right next to you and your acoustic side, do you ever mush the two together, kind of do something like a Neil Peart kind of setup?
Not yet. I am very technically challenged, as far as putting things together. But yes, that might be something that'll eventually happen. I joked around, said I'm gonna make me a great big old round place in the middle of the room, and that way I can jump back and forth like Neil did. Just won't have the rotating drum riser.
Yeah, that's true. Speaking of Neil Peart, would you consider he's one of your influences, or do you have a good many others?
Peter Criss actually was to start with. Getting back to the Kiss thing, because, obviously a lot of it was the showmanship and the stage presence and all that stuff. But Peter Criss, Ringo, older brother was a big Beatles fan, so I used to listen to his Beatles records all the time. And then Neil Peart, and then I started watching other drummers, and then I didn't appreciate Buddy Rich at that time until I got a little bit older, and I started really watching what Buddy Rich was doing. It was just phenomenal. Simon Phillips, when he was playing with Judas Priest. There's a lot of drummers that were influential, and Neil Peart, that was, when I heard Rush for the first time, I was hooked. So, and then the first album I ever bought from Rush was Farewell to Kings. And then I made it my business to own everyone. I bought them all the way up to Hemispheres, and then after Signals, I kind of started listening to other things. But I went back and bought the first album and didn't even know there was a different drummer on the first album. It was John Rutsey that played on the very first Rush album. But everything after that was Neil Peart. So, yeah, Neil, some of the stuff he did, man, that was unreal. I had a double bass set at one time and had 6 mounts. I just took that old set and started adding to it and bought CB 700 concert toms and a bass drum. And yes, I thought I could play like him, but that's no way, no how. That guy's something.
We can only try. That's pretty much the thing we can always say. So, I actually remember watching a documentary about Rush and talked about all of them, but it also talked about how big Neil was, and also in terms of the writing process as well as drumming and everything too. And I always remember when Gene Simmons, I guess when he was talking about him, and I think they were playing in Vegas, and obviously Kiss, they're drinking, they got all these women with them and everything in the hotel room, and Rush is not doing any of what Kiss is doing. They are doing the exact opposite. They're just kind of chilling. They're probably smoking maybe some weed and stuff, because that's pretty much what you did back in the day, but really they were just talking. They weren't doing anything that Kiss was doing. And I always thought, because Gene Simmons says, if women can make love to an ugly bastard like me, what the hell were you guys doing?
I think I saw the same documentary as talked about Alex Life, and let's see, Ace told him to do the bag or whatever it was, and he come in there and said, went in there one time, and Gene Simmons had a couple women in there. He was cutting the fool. Said Gene got upset with him. He was blocking him. Yeah, that was a good documentary. How they grew up together. Geddy Lee and Alex Lifeson, how they grew up together. So, and just they still got that tight bond to this day. So that's awesome.
Though I thought Neil Peart was always with them too. I thought he showed up one day, and then after maybe some considerations and stuff like that, they decided Neil was a drummer, and then that's when they started their career and everything. So I thought that was the story. I didn't know about the other drummer.
Oh yeah, John Rutsey. He played with them. They played clubs, and they actually played teen dances and different things like that. And when they recorded the first album, I think before they went to tour the first album, his health wasn't the best, so they made a decision to bring in another drummer and Neil Peart, I forget what kind of vehicle he said he had, but when he went to audition, he had a set with two 18-inch bass drums, and I could imagine him towering over these little bitty drums. But once he played with them, that was it. They ever since he did all the lyrics, and yeah, he would spend his time reading while they might have been cutting the fool. He spent his time reading. So
yeah, that's for sure. And I think I don't know what brand the car it was, but I know it was probably like the least expensive car you could probably get, or it's like that piece of crap car.
Pinto, but I can't remember exactly. I have to rewatch it. So, but it was a little bitty car that he came up in. So.
I actually think their first show in the States was in Pittsburgh, and I think my dad actually went to that one.
Oh yeah. So I saw Kiss in '76. When I grew up, there was a guy that I hung out with in junior high school. His parents told him, if Kiss comes within 90 miles of Fayetteville, we'll take you and one of your friends up there. We'll let you go to the concert. We'll go do shopping or whatever. Then we'll come back and pick you up at 11 o'clock. So the state fairgrounds is in Raleigh. There's a place called the Dorton Arena. So dropped us off, and this was my first experience with the concert crowd, kind of sheltered military kid, and get in there, and guys banging up against the wall, and throws up. And I'm like, wow, this is something else. And Kiss was actually the opening act. And I think it was around the 2112 time. So it was in '76 in November when I saw him. And then the very next month, my brother came home from Fort Rucker. He was doing flight training at Fort Rucker. He came home. He took me and my younger brother out here to Fayetteville. But but Rush, I saw Rush 2 times in a month, but somehow it slipped my mind because I wasn't there to watch Rush. But when I got a little bit older and started listening to them, it was, yeah, that was awesome. How old is your dad?
He's up in his 60s, but I think he grew up through a lot of the same. He grew up through the same years that you did too. So yeah,
I'll be 60 in August.
Right.
Yeah. So just retired. Worked almost 41 years at Goodyear. Built tires and was an area manager out there. And now I got plenty of time on my hands, and with the honeydews and all that good stuff. But I get to come back here and play the drums quite a bit. My wife's been great, because I say I'm gonna go back there and play my acoustic drums for a little bit. Okay, but I try to keep it before it gets too late, because I don't want to disturb the neighbors, or if she wants to watch something on TV, I don't want to disturb her too bad. That's where the electronics are great. I mean, anytime, day or night, and put on your headphones and everything just coming through your headphones.
We don't want the beast coming through the door when we disturb her.
Yep.
We got to keep the wife happy. I was going to say, you weren't banging on your drums as hard when I was watching the Molly Hatchet video. So you were definitely playing it good. But I never realized you weren't pounding on it and everything, just trying to be I don't want to say stereotypical, but you know what I mean? Like those drummers back then when you just bang on the drums and just do what you can to imitate the music that you're playing. So
yeah, I've never been a real heavy hitter. I know some are, but I like to keep it at a level where I can bring the dynamics up if I have to. or keep it at the same level or bring it down. That's what I like about the acoustic drums versus the electronic. I mean, obviously more advanced electronic sets. I mean, there's more things you can do with it. Mine's an Elisa, so it's not a top of the line deal, but you get into the Rolands and some of the things that you can do with a Roland kit. It's unreal. But I like the acoustics as far as the dynamics, and I bought a little mixer so I can turn it as high as I want or as low as I want, but I don't want to goof the sound up too bad because I'm still learning that thing. So I try to keep everything as simple as possible. That way I don't confuse myself.
He's a simple kind of man.
All right, you just dictated a cover. It's coming up.
Oh, there we go. I implanted the idea into his brain right there. There you go. Have you done a couple with Leonard Skinner?
Yes, recently I've done since on the acoustic kit I've done Sweet Home Alabama, Whiskey Rock and Roller, and That Smell. I know I've done those three recently.
Give me 3 steps.
And Watch Your Name. I haven't done Give Me 3 Steps. So I think I did. No, I didn't even do that on the electronic kit. But, because the thing I like electronics, I can program the cowbell into a zone. So one of the zones on the toms, that's my cowbell. And so that's one thing I like on the electronics versus the acoustic, because you gotta spend a ton of money to get all the toys you can get on this module over here. So, but no, I haven't done Give Me 3 Steps. But okay, you got 2 of them. You just put in my head.
Yep. No worries. About to help out in some sort of way outside of this too. So good luck to you, bud. Getting into your YouTube channel. You were talking earlier. You said it was your daughter who came up with the name.
My niece.
Oh, your niece.
Yeah. Call it Preach Rocks. Because I'm a Southern Baptist minister.
Ah, okay. I was gonna say, where's the preach come from?
Yeah. So I've been pastor in a small church in my area for the last almost 22 years now, and she said, "Well, you like rock and you're a preacher. Call it Preach Rocks." I said, "Okay." Just for kicks, I'll put it on there. But that was that was her idea with the name, and I just started throwing a cover or 2 up there, and didn't know what I was doing. Still don't know, but I just put a cover up there. Then Michael Perry connected with me, and his name is Josh, but his handle is Uzi Boo Boo Doo Doo. He connected with me, and then then I mentioned All Classic Drum Club covers. That was on Google Plus, and then I got over in that, and then Mike Perry had one called The Drummer's Den, so I was in both of those. And then when Google Plus shut down, that kind of messed everything up. But we got a little chat group on the WhatsApp, and then I just keep up with those guys on YouTube. So yeah, there's some good drummers out there. There really are good drummers. You learn what level you're at by watching other people. When I was young, I thought I was the best because we didn't have the things showing. Now I'm looking at 7, 8-year-old kids doing this stuff. I'm throwing my sticks away. I'm done. But there's some super drummers out there. They had that one kid, Caleb, that does the Slipknot and stuff like that. And I'm looking at this little kid is just tearing the drum set up. But there's some, I enjoy interacting with all my brothers on YouTube and Facebook and the WhatsApp, and it's good. And I got to meet Rich, so that was a good thing. And hopefully I'll get to meet more. So.
Oh, you definitely meet more, because I interact with a good number of drummers too, and we're on WhatsApp as well. So we do our little chat, and my phone's blowing up too with all the messages from WhatsApp. So it's funny you mentioned Uzi, because I think the first time I actually saw his name was under Rich's interview, and I guess he's a good friend of Rich too.
I know they have connected. I don't know if they talk on the phone or whatever, but I know we had all connected through the Google Plus deal. through the drummer's den, and we used to do drum battles and all kinds of stuff like that. So it was fun. We had some good fun. Little back and forth with one another. So
it does sound actually very fun too. And I was just trying to remember what I was going to say. I had the question right there too.
It'll come back to you
eventually. Yeah. Yeah, I think it was just I think I was trying to think of something else. Is there really anything you hope to achieve with your YouTube channel, or are you just gonna keep rolling as it is?
I don't expect YouTube to be a source of income or anything for me. I just like doing it, and it's just mainly just connect with other drummers, other musicians. So I don't do it, to have any great big goals on it. I mean, I'm up over 400 subscribers. Never thought that happened in my life. I mean, I'm just throwing stuff out there and getting to meet people and interact through it. So, yeah, it's never been a goal to blow up social media, but I enjoy it, and I like commenting on other people's stuff and them commenting on my stuff. And, if there's any constructive criticism, I take that and use it. And yeah, that's how we grow.
I see. And the question did come back to me. Since you said you're from North Carolina, do you know Eric Henninger, aka Dramatic?
Me and Eric interact on Facebook and YouTube. Now, is he in North Carolina?
He is, yeah.
Where's he at in North Carolina? Do you know?
I tried to ask him too, because I thought he was close to where Charlotte is, because I drove past through Charlotte numerous times, and I have to say, gorgeous city. It does look pretty nice, and it's also funny too because you're close to South Carolina, where King's Dominion theme park is.
Carowinds.
Carowinds.
Yeah, it's just right there between. It actually, the park is right there on the state line. So you got a South Carolina side and a North Carolina side.
Just keep jumping over the border and everything. That way you end up in the middle.
Walk past the border. It's like Bristol, Tennessee, and Virginia. You got a state line that goes down the middle of the city.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So actually, Carowinds is where I saw Linda Ronstadt in 1974. My family went down there. They got a place called the Palladium. It's like an outdoor, and they have bands play there. Linda Ronstadt just happened to be there that day that we went down there. So that was pretty fun. They got roller coasters, and I'm a little bit too old for roller coasters now, but we used to go down there, and actually my family rented a van probably about 10 years ago, and went down with my wife's sister and brother and their kids, and took my son, and we all went down there and made a day out of it. Stayed in Charlotte for the day. So then they got the Panthers. The Carolina Panthers play in Charlotte. The Charlotte Hornets professional basketball team. So, yeah, there's a lot to do here, and plus we got the Hurricanes. Our hockey team used to be the Edmonton Oilers or the Hartford Whalers. That used to be the Hurricanes used to be the Hartford Whalers. So yeah, and Steve, the drummer, he's from up around the Greensboro area. I didn't know Eric was here in North Carolina, and the guy that's got the channel Drum On, he's from the western part of the state, out in the mountains. So that's probably about a 7-hour drive for me, because I'm about 90 miles from the coast. So about 60 miles from the capital, Raleigh, and 2 hours from Charlotte, and hour and a half from Greensboro. So we're kind of right there in the middle. The Sand Hills is what they call our area, and right now it's been hot. Yeah, we had 109 heat index yesterday, so it gets a little warm down here.
Yeah, I do too, but it gets worse as you keep going south. It's getting hot down here, that sort of thing. I did do an interview with Eric, and in fact, I think he was my third interview. So I think he mentioned in that interview where he's at in North Carolina. So it's not coming to me right now, but if you want, check it out and then see eventually when you find it, because we did talk for a good bit in that one. And let's see.
So you're in Pennsylvania, huh?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, and
Yeah, my uncle used to have a dairy farm in Lancaster County.
Did it?
Yeah, he retired, and actually, I think he sold it to some Amish folks. That's right there in the heart of Amish country.
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad before he went to the military, worked for his brother on the dairy farm, and he said there's got to be an easier way to make a living. So he he went in the army Christmas Eve 1940, and yeah, he went in the army and did World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. But he said working on a dairy farm wasn't for him. But yeah, I got some people up Virginia and Maryland, Pennsylvania. I've been to Pennsylvania a couple of times, but never anything higher in Pennsylvania.
I guess outside of the heat index, how is North Carolina this time of the year?
It's I mean, you got kids out of school and everything's busy. It has been hot, and there's Fayetteville. There's a few things to do around here, but we got some lakes and we got a ski rixing out at there's a place called Smith Lake recreational area. It's part of Fort Bragg, but they got a ski rix and the ski machine. You can go out there skiing. There's a couple things to do around here, but yeah, he keeps you inside. We got a semi-pro baseball team, so that's going wide open right now.
I see. Did they ever want to change the name Fort Bragg, or is that kind of now more of a state issue now?
I think that's up for review, and I can't remember what they're wanting to call it. Fort Liberty, or I feel like they should leave it alone, honestly, because it's been Fort Bragg forever. The home of the 82nd Special Forces. I'm not big on a lot of the changes, but because there's history, you learn from history, so you don't repeat history, and that's a lot of my feeling around that. But as far as Fort Bragg goes, I've been here since I was a few months old. It's just something that everybody knows. And I think you can leave well enough alone.
We don't like change.
Yeah, I'm a little resistant to change, certainly. But yeah.
Well, it's funny too because I know it's named after Braxton Bragg, the Civil War general, but he wasn't. I don't want to say, I don't want to kind of disrespect or anything, but I guess he wasn't really the greatest general, and he wasn't really well liked amongst his soldiers. So it's kind of a little bit of an odd paradox too, especially considering you name something after a guy that's not very well liked or anything like that. So
a couple bases around the country have been named for that. Even after the Civil War, Braxton Bragg went into the Union Army. I mean, the United States Army at the time. Robert E. Lee was a West Point graduate, so it's they had the reasons for whatever they did. That's past is in the past. Because you got to. Well, I tell my people at church, if you are living yesterday, you're cheating yourself out of today's blessing. So, I think our country needs to get our head wrapped around priorities right at the moment, instead of cherry picking things to get on the bandwagon about. We got, and politicians, I don't like talking politics, but I think our politicians need to work for what the good of the American people is, not the good of the Republican Party or the Democrat Party or whatever party you represent. Get together so we can move forward as a country instead of staying locked in the past and past battles. And I hate it. I really do. I think things have calmed down a little bit, but I think we need some revival in this nation as far as what the priorities should be. But
yeah, that ties in too.
Speech for today, and I'll leave it at that on my political stuff.
Yeah, but I'm the same way too. But this whole year in particular has kind of made me more of a pessimist, if you know what I mean. So you can probably see why. But this kind of all ties into COVID too, which we'll get into here. But I guess how bad did COVID affect you and your community?
Well, everything pretty much shut down except for a few restaurants. Obviously your grocery stores, no entertainment or anything of that nature. And actually, the tire plant where I work, we shut down from the middle of March, and they started bringing people back about the middle of May. I was one of the last ones to come back because they're only running small areas of the plant. So I went back in June, and being shorthanded, I had to work a month straight. And after that month, I ended up contracting COVID. I ended up getting it down in my lungs, pneumonia, had all the bad stuff with it. And I quarantined. My mom was in an assisted living home, but she still kept her home up the street from my house. So I went and stayed there to get away from my wife. I had a nephew living with us at the time. And my wife still got it. She got it as bad as I did. I was out of work 5 weeks, got my shots, got the booster, and around Christmas time last year, actually got it again. And it wasn't as bad the second time. But, we were blessed that it wasn't worse than what it, because there's a lot of people that lost their lives over that stuff. But tried to take the right precautions, keep yourself clean, keep the distance, wear the mask where it's required to wear the mask. And that was a tough gig in that plant, having to wear a mask for 12 hours. That was tough because it could be hot in areas of that plant too. And on top of that, you're having to constrict your breathing a little bit. But we came through it. We came through it.
And came through it stronger and better.
Yeah, stronger and better, a little bit more aware.
Yeah, and it's good to see you made it through too. And I know some people have caught it too in some of the other interviews I've done. And it's obviously no joke. And I kind of wish people would see that. Obviously, it becomes more of a political talking point at this point. So it's probably best not to go too far into that, but I guess it's good.
I agree 100%. It's not a joke. I mean, anybody that gets it and they get a bad dose of it, they'll understand why all the precautions and everything have been put into place. Because some people it affects no more than a headache. You might get a headache, you might get a little fever, but then others, it's seizing them up where they can't breathe and they're on respirators, and then you still got to deal with the things afterward. I'm kind of dizzy as it is, but you get brain fog. You'll have good energy one day, then you just feel like somebody just unplugs the battery, and that's went on for months. It's been since this last go around that I had. It was in December, so it's July now. So I'm not getting the tired spells or getting his brain fog. They call it brain fog. You just lose your train of thought. I can blame mine on old age. So, but yeah, it's no joke, that's for sure. And if everybody's got their own feelings about vaccines and different things like that. But my wife had cancer in 2017. She had colon cancer, so she's immunocompromised, and the right thing for me to do and for my family to do that's going to be around her was to get vaccinated, because we don't want to take the chance on it hit her so bad that she's already fighting it as it is. And she, surprisingly, she came through hers very well too. So it's, you just got to weigh all the nuts and bolts to the thing,
I see. Yeah. And, did it allow you to be a little bit more interactive? I guess, did you do more drum covers when you were feeling better and do more stuff on YouTube and social media?
Oh yeah. I've been putting out a lot since I retired. My last day of work was February the 25th. And, I got this probably about 2 months ago. So I've been, doing a lot of this. My electric drum set's feeling a little neglected, but, yeah, I've been playing this quite a bit. Lately, I've been putting out a lot of covers. So yes, pretty much do what I want. Just take care of the necessary things and Yes, day I've been looking forward to for a while is finally get out of that plant, and thankfully I don't have to worry about working again if I don't have to. I mean, if I don't want to. So that was one of the things that forced it taught me into staying longer. Was it was where would I be if I retired 10 years ago compared to what I am right now? So I would have definitely had to go out and look for a job to help me with insurance and different things like that. But right now, everything fell into place pretty well.
I would say, did you play Freebird after retiring that day?
No, but I listened to it real loud.
I was gonna say, yeah, that probably should be what you do when you retire from your actual job, and then like just posted that in that day. I'm free of the constraints of my workplace and everything.
They're all ready. I'm done.
Yep.
Yeah. I still can't. I miss my people. I was an area manager, so I had a section of people, and I worked night shift for years, just for the simple fact because I wanted to be able to do my church stuff on Sundays. Because if I worked days, the way we were manned, if somebody was out on the opposite shift, I'd have to cover their vacation, or God forbid they got sick, then I'd have to come in on my days off and cover. So I kept the night schedule for all those years. Now it's just a point of getting used to being up in the day and asleep at night. So it's a lot of years of training my system. Now I just got to get it back to normal.
You get to sleep in a lot more too. So
yeah,
it's not just a weekend deal anymore.
Every day Saturday.
Yep. Except for Sunday, we got to get up and go to Sunday mass.
Day's business. Yeah. But I miss my people. I don't miss the plant. But I still keep in contact with some of the guys that work with me. So.
Did you just retire last year, or when did you retire?
This year.
This year? Okay.
Official on April the 1st, but I had vacation I could burn. So it was officially official on April the 1st. So.
Oh, you should have did an April Fool's joke.
Well, everybody thought I was playing with them. I said April 1st, I'm officially done. What are you going to do? Come in and say April Fools? I said, no. I said, I'm serious. I'm retiring April 1st. So everybody thought I was going to pull an April Fool and show up the next day, but no, it was time.
I can see, yeah, but I can also see why they would be skeptical at first, because then people then feel stupid afterwards. So I can see why they would be that. So, all right, but happy retirement to you, bud. Good to have you here.
Appreciate that.
I actually did miss this question. What kind of sticks do you play?
Well, I have a few sets of Vader. Here, I got two. Mostly right now I'm using, I got a Vader 5A with a nylon tip. Then I got some ProMark 5As with the wood tip. So I've been playing mostly with these two sticks right now. I do have some Zildjian Anti-Vibe. They're 5Bs. So when I started playing again, I started playing with a 5B. Felt a little heavy to me. So, and when I was playing before, I used 7As, but they felt too light. So I kind of went in the middle and got a 5A. That feels pretty good to me. I got some Zildjian dips. I've already wore all the coating off of them, but yeah, I try to play with ProMark mainly, but I do like the Vader sticks as well.
You ever play with Vic Firth before?
Oh, never played with Vic Firth sticks. I do got a Vic Firth stick bag, but I've never played with Vic Firth sticks. So, do you recommend them?
I mean, I've been playing with them. It's to each his own. I mean, if you're comfortable with those sticks and they feel like they're real light on your hands, you're able to move between cymbals and toms and everything, I'd say stick with what you got.
Well, I keep everything in pretty close hitting range. So ergonomics, that's just one thing I did learn from work. Because I don't put my cymbals way up high. I have everything within easy hitting distance. I think the thing that's hardest to hit is my China cymbal, and I got to kind of backhand that thing. But everything else I got within close hitting range.
Gotta go hit it.
Yeah. I've seen videos where the guys got cymbal trees and they're playing all up here, and I'm thinking, you guys are crazy. You're gonna wear out just trying to hit cymbals. But yeah, I keep everything close.
That's what I do too. Yeah, so because it also allows me to move real fast with the toms and being able to get up to the cymbals too. So that's why I technically like to recommend everything being close. So, but once again, it's to each his own. So
especially when you get older and you got your friend arthritis that likes to visit. So me being older, I like to keep everything a little bit closer. That way I don't have to work so hard.
Yeah, that too. That too. So walk us through your drum cover process. Do you just pick a song you really like? Because I know you've mentioned you talked about Molly Hatchets and covering those kind of bands. Do you just pick a song one of these days, and then how do you record and then put everything together before releasing it on social media?
I got Moises, and I bought the version, the subscription version. It's I think it was $39.95. I bought that, and I got an app, Let's Unmix, that I bought, and it just depends on what I'm listening to at the moment. If I'm listening to a lot of Southern rock, I might just say, okay, Flirting with Disaster. I played that on the electric kit 4 years ago. I said, now I want to do it on the E kit. So I already had, you got so many tracks on YouTube. I mean, you can go drumless tracks. They're the Guitar Hero or the Rock Band tracks without the drums. So I use that, and what I do on my mixer, I don't do anything complicated. I got 4 mics set up on my acoustic set. I have to get a bigger mixer because it's the first time I've ever used a mixer. But I set my iPad on my snare drum here, and I plug it into the mixer, and then I try to adjust my drums to where they're not too loud or too soft. I'm still playing with that. I'll get the bass a little bit heavy on some of them. Flirting with Disaster, I had the bass a little heavy on that. Then I got a regular instrument cable that's plugged into a splitter, a stereo splitter. And then I plug the instrument cable. I got it on iRig. Then I just go iRig to the telephone. And then what I'll do, I'll play it a couple times just with the phone, record it, and see where I might maybe make some adjustments. And then I'll just hook up my iPad and iPad, my iPhone. I do everything real time. So there's, I'm not sending it to a computer and editing, and that's, I want to learn to do that, obviously, but right now I do things the easy way. I saw 65 drums. He said, you need 3 things to do a drum cover. He said, an instrument cable, an iRig, and a phone or iPad. So that's what I've been doing.
That's the easiest way to do it, yeah, because I know what video you're talking about, too. It's when he walks through all the options, and mine kind of does it a little bit more since I use Electronic Kid. So I bring it all through MIDI, and then, like you said, you got to spend a little money in order to get some of the fancy gizmos in order to enhance the sound. So I use Superior Drummer for that. I export it out of Logic Pro X, and then I put it all together in Final Cut Pro, that sort of thing. So you said you use Moises, right, for your editing?
Moises is the easiest for me. You can import from a URL. Say I don't have the song on my library, my music library. You can import, and then I set it where you can cut out the drums. You can actually adjust your vocals and drums, and then you can go to the pan to the left or to the right on each one. And then I'll use that, and I try to get it where it's not a hollow sound. Sometimes with these programs, you just take all the drums out and you don't do any extra playing around. You're going to get a hollow sound out of it. It's the same thing with the Let's Unmix. That goes straight to the Moises, and I got a library on my Moises I play off of. The Let's Unmix, what I used to do with that, I'd take a song. It's basically the same principle. I would send the song to iMovie, and then I would create a drumless track on YouTube using iMovie. So, and then I probably got 1,000 songs that I picked from YouTube, and I got three playlists, and then I got stuff that I've made, and then I got the Moises stuff, and yeah, I got more songs I could probably play in a lifetime, and I'm not going to attempt all of them either because some of them are pretty tough. Some of the Avenged Sevenfold, I'm just like, okay, I might tinker around with it one day, see what I can do with it. But
Avenged Sevenfold, those are pretty tricky songs too. And I forget who the new drummer is now because I know they lost their old drummer. The name kind of escapes me now, so I feel kind of bad.
Brox Wackerman.
Brox Wackerman.
Yeah, I used to play with what was it, Bad Religion, or yeah, I think he played with Bad Religion. But that guy's he is every bit as good as Rev. Every bit as good. He's something. Now the Rev was unreal, but this guy here, his double bass, his fills. I mean, everything's just amazing. That's one band I've never seen that I want to see. Another band is Iron Maiden. I'm finally going to get to see them in October. But I've watched some of Nico McBrain stuff. He uses one bass drum. He doesn't double it up. And that's the same thing Clive Bird did. And John Bonham, one bass drum. He said, why use two when you can do everything with one? But yeah, that was another of my influences I forgot with John Bonham. Yeah, but Clive Burr, he was super fast. And yeah, they got a place for him now, Brox Wackerman. He's something.
Absolutely too. A lot of those old guys, yeah, they all got like a big influence in some way, especially of us drummers too. So I can see why. You can't ever forget John Bonham too.
No, Bonzo's the man.
Absolutely. All right, so at this part of the podcast, I like to give my interviewees a little bit of freedom to ask me anything, or if there's anything you'd like to get off your chest. So, fire away, Breach.
Well, no, I really don't have anything to get off my chest. I've enjoyed talking to you. And what's your channel on YouTube?
It's really just my name because.
Okay.
You know, actually, at first I tried to.
I don't know if I'm subscribed to you or not, but I am.
Eventually. I think I had to say I did choose. You know how people sometimes just pick the names, kind of do like a dual identity, that sort of thing. I think I was watching one of the videos because originally I was going to do like vlogs. And I think she just says, just use your name because that way nobody's getting confused about who you are. And I figured, all right, I'm just going to use my name. And this is who I am. Here's a little about section about what you can expect on my channel. Take it or leave it sort of thing. So I got nothing to hide. Let's just say it.
That's pretty much the same way I feel. Yeah, I'm not super technical. I play them just for fun. I have no plans on gigging with anybody, and you know, I do got a couple friends that are. We've been talking about maybe getting together and playing a little something, but we're not. The club days and all that stuff, that's long gone. You know, I told a guy that he plays with a blues band called the Heaters, and they do a lot of stuff down at the beach, and they're on the beach music charts and all this. And I said, you know, I think touring would have been fun for me for about a month. Then after that, you know, I like to eat too well, and I like to sleep in my own bed. So you know, the dreams of becoming a rock star, they kind of faded. You know, after I got married and all that stuff, it was like, you know, this is my priority right here. But yeah, I enjoy it, man. I do. I enjoy interacting. This is actually the first interview I've ever did, so you know I enjoy that too. So it's good stuff, man.
Yeah, I broke a couple of barriers with some other people too. A lot of people have not done these kind of interviews before. I got one tomorrow with my first female drummer out of LA County, believe it or not.
Oh yeah.
So I'm actually super happy about that. We finally got our first female drummer on here. So
because there's some super good female drummers out there too.
I'm sure there are, but I was trying to do just like a Facebook kind of search that way. Unfortunately, Rich, he told me about this girl. Her name's Brianna. And,
okay.
So I finally got her on, and she's super stoked too. So we're gonna talk tomorrow.
Yeah, Rich has a super knowledge of music. He's played a lot of stuff that I'd never heard. Of course, like I said years ago, you didn't have the social media thing, or uh, I said, where was YouTube when I was playing drums years ago? I mean, I've learned so much just from watching, the guys I interact with, and just trying to apply that stuff. So I enjoy it. I really do.
I guess you should be asking, where was the iPhone where I could have actually filmed all these concerts I went to?
Yeah, I had to take the little Kodak Pocket Instamatic and take pictures, and it's not like you could zoom in. They look like they're about that tall when you take the picture of them. So, yeah.
I actually do remember there was a picture that a friend of my uncle's, because they actually went to go see Richie Blackmore's Rainbow when they had Ronnie James Dio back then. I think that was when they came to Pittsburgh, and he took this super rad picture. I forget which camera he was using, and they can't find it now. So,
oh man, that'd be awesome to frame. Yeah,
if I could, but I forget what it was. I don't know if it was just perfect timing when the band was all together there, or just them jamming, stuff like that. My dad would probably know a little bit more, so I'll ask him about it later.
Yeah, that would have been great to see them. Yeah, that really would.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. What were you gonna say?
Hey, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna talk about your cover bands real quick, because you mentioned you were in a couple before.
Yeah, I played from the time I was 15 till I was about 18. I played in a Beatles cover band. Then I played with these guys. They called themselves Sultans of the South, and I hooked up with them. And they like to do a lot of original stuff. We did a couple cover too, and we started writing some stuff. But we still threw in all the classics, War Pigs by Black Sabbath, and then we throw some Southern rock in and little stuff here and there. Then when those guys kind of moved away, because they were military, I hooked up with another guy, and he's actually still in the business now. He writes tunes. He doesn't so much play anymore, but he was a bass player, and he had a friend and that he knew. We got together. We called ourselves Trinity. We were a house band at a bar on Sunday nights, and then things kind of fell through on that. And after that, around the time I got married, and wife got pregnant, and the drums got put away for 27 years. Then I started playing again, and it's, my brain tell me what to do, and my hands and feet just weren't cooperating too well. So it was a relearning process all the way over again. But that's kind of my history with the bands. I never did anything big, never recorded anything, but I did have a good time gigging around here. Sorry, got a frog in my throat. But yeah, we used to play a couple bars around here, and played out on Fort Bragg a few times, and just stuff like that.
Down on the fort. There we go. Mm. That's pretty sweet too. Do you still stay in touch with the guys, or have you guys lost contact?
Yeah, I got I'm in contact with one guy. We just went and saw Robert Plant and Allison Krauss a couple weeks ago. That's the one that plays the blues stuff, and one of my friends is out in Los Angeles. He works for the sound company that does the sound for The Voice and for the Los Angeles Rams and all that stuff. I'm still in contact with him. He still plays. Not anything big, but he still plays. And the guy that I said writes the music, I keep in contact with him. I'm trying to get a little reunion thing together so we can get together, maybe run a space out and just do like the Beatles did on that Let It Be thing. Just get in there and just tinker around, see if we can write something.
It's funny you keep mentioning Beatles. There was actually a movie, I think it was called Yesterday. I think it was what it was called. But it was like this major blackout happens all throughout the world, and then pretty soon everybody forgets what the Beatles was.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one yet.
They keep messing up like Let It Be. It's like Leave It Be or stuff like that. So it's funny too, but you just forget about the Beatles. That's really all it is.
Have you seen the one on Disney Plus. Now it's a take. Years ago, they put out the movie Let It Be. It's where they're they're going through the recording process, and George Harrison leaves, and it just shows them fighting and fussing. This one on Disney Plus, it's a 3-part deal. I think it's 3 hours for each part. That gives more of the story to the rooftop concert that they did in London, which is eventually U2 did something like that on one of their videos in Los Angeles. They did the rooftop thing, and it kind of mirrored the Beatles thing, except the Beatles ended up getting shut down because they showed the cops coming up there with those big hats on, and yeah, that was a pretty cool movie though.
Noise pollution, that's what they had to be convicted of.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about, but no, I have not seen it yet. So
yeah, it's worth a look. And just watching their songwriting process, it's and you Get Back doesn't sound nothing like the finished version when they first start writing it. Let It Be, I mean, just something out there just goofing around in there, and Ringo just kind of sitting back there doing his thing, and that's how they were writing that song, that album. Abbey Road and Let It Be, but Let It Be actually came before Abbey Road. They split up actually after Abbey Road. Yeah, Paul, I would have loved to have seen them, but they quit touring in like 1966. They never played together again, and you get Ringo would play with George, or he'd play with John, and then I don't know if he's played anything with Paul. I did see Wing. I've seen Paul McCartney a couple times, but it was a big stadium type setting when I saw him the first time, and then the second time we had the VIP package where you could go in for the sound check, and he did like 12 songs on the sound check. And then when we went to the concert, it was my wife and I, her sister, and my brother-in-law. We were 13 rows back, and the guy that sat in front of me and my wife, he said, "I want to apologize in advance for being 6'9". I said, "I wish I had that problem." But, so he was tall, his daughter was tall, his wife was tall. They were in front of us, but, still had a good time. But it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's good to see Paul McCartney. He's still going strong, too. I think was he in the late 70s, or is he actually in his 80s now?
He's probably getting pretty close to 80. He's getting up there in age.
He's still kicking. You got to respect him for that. That's what I love those guys, too. Like a lot of those guys, too. I know Lemmy Kilmister from Motorhead. I know he was in the 70s. He would have easily gone the 80s or 90s if it wasn't for his cancer that took him.
Then Ozzy Osbourne can't hardly get a sentence out. He's still singing.
That too. And, let's see. I think all of the Rolling Stones, they're all up there too. I know it was a shame they lost Charlie Watts.
Yeah. Hey, those old men are good.
They're still kicking. You gotta respect them for that.
Keith Richard, whatever he's taken must have preserved him with that. I mean, the stuff he was into, and he looked almost the best out of all of them the last time I saw him. Charlie Watts is up there doing his thing.
Yeah. Rest in peace to Charlie Watts. And it was a shame the guy losing too. So, all right. Did you have anything else before we jump to the last question? We're almost done.
No.
All right.
No, just having fun talking.
I know. It's a good conversation. It'll help break some barriers too. Let's hope this is the making of a beautiful friendship, and like I said, break it down barriers too. So let's make it work. All right. So last question. This is one I always like to ask my interviewees, considering what COVID has done and everything. So what message of hope could you give to musicians out there?
Things are going to get better. If you were a gigging musician and that stopped, things are opening up where you can start doing that again. Keep playing. Music has a way of soothing the soul. It really does. And it's something that can help keep you sane and tough times, because there's only so many video games you can play. There's only so much cornhole and finding little funny things to do. But, if you're a musician, perfect your craft. Take the time to work on your craft. Because you're going to come out better in the long run. Because a lot of times, if you're a musician and you're playing a lot, you're not practicing. Not like not like you have the opportunity to do now. So better days are coming, and we can already see that. We can see things opening up. Live music's a thing again. So just keep your head up. Don't give up. Things always have a way of getting better. Even in the darkest of times, like right now, it's cloudy outside. The sun still shines because those clouds are going to clear up. So it's just keep your head up and keep plugging along. That's about all we can do, because we can't fret about things that are gone. And the older I get, the more I appreciate each day that I got. So just take each day as a gift. Take that gift and enjoy it.
Absolutely. All right. Spoken like a true prodigy, or a true preacher, we should probably say.
A little musician, little athlete, little coach, little everything.
Little preacher. Got to get the Sunday skills out.
Preaching in there, so.
Yeah, absolutely too. All right. Well, Tom, we reached the end of my podcast right here, and I want to thank you so much again for coming on. So, any last words or any shout outs you want to do before we close?
No, just shout out to my dog Rich. And I'm definitely going to hit Eric up and find out where he's at North Carolina. Yeah, man, North Carolina in the house. That's what I'm talking about. But we're all connected, though. So you're right now. You're in North Carolina. I'm in Pennsylvania. So I like internet's a good thing. Especially communities like this. We all share a common interest. With music and playing the drums, and it's something that's good, man. It really is. And I appreciate you taking the time to put me on your program, and yeah, I appreciate it. I really do.
It makes for some good TV. That's what we do. But no. In all seriousness, thank you so much for coming on. And I like trying to interact with people, because this helps. Like I said a couple times already, but it helps breaks down the barriers and everything, so we get to know each other a little bit more. So now when we meet each other, maybe face to face one of these days, we can at least.
Sounds good to me.
Eventually, when we get to that point, we're still working towards that. So, all right. So everyone, my guest today was Tom Counts, hailing from North Carolina, aka Preach Rocks. You can check out his channel and everything. I'll include a link down in the description below. Go subscribe to his channel and go help a brother out. So, Tom, thank you again so much again for coming on.
Brian, thank you so much, man.
No worries. Stay safe.
All right.
Stay tuned, y'all.
Gotcha.